Welcome everyone back to the show. Tonight's final show. Woo! What a great day today. Two great guests came on the show today. Big shout out to Robert Amico and Mr. Samuel Lee Hill for coming on the show. Great guys, great stories. And they're doing a lot of things. So make sure you guys show love and make sure you guys um show them some love. Tonight we have a great guest coming on the show all the way from Australia by the name of Jade Kenny. She's a director out in Australia. I did send her the link. She hasn't replied yet, so I'm hoping that she get the message so we can bring her on the show because she has an amazing story to tell, and I'm very excited to know exactly what happened on with the story with Chappelle Corby, because Miss Jade was there present when everything went down, and she has the story to tell. So I'm excited, guys. I'm very, very excited. I always want to thank all the people that logged in and show the love to the guests and to the Don Big Show. I also, appreciate you guys. Big shout out to Paro Post Network, my man Brian J. Lavardi. Big shout out to him. Big shout out to all the paranormal investigators, Bigfoot investigators, UFO investigators. The list goes on and on and on and on. But also big shout out to last night's person we met last night at the club. One of our own from the Boston Patriots, Julius Edelman, was at the club last night. Hi, Sue. How you doing, sweetie? Was at the club last night. Down to earth dude. We took took a picture with him, and he hung out with us for a few seconds. Man, dude was dope. Man, I didn't know he was that humble and that outgoing. Man, he's a great guy. So big shout out to Julius Edelman from the ex-Boston Patriots player. And big shout out to the Patriots. Big shout out to the Celtics. Had a big game last night. But tomorrow is the main game against the Bucks. And they'll be playing here in Boston. So my city's going to be turned up. Man, listen, when my city turn up, man, you can hear it out on the streets. The arena is it's like all over the city, man. It's so loud, So we're definitely cheering for the Patriots. For the Celtics. They've been playing great. We just hope they keep playing, and we hope tomorrow they can come up with a win so we can go to you already know, the championship. You feel me? Game 7, baby. What's up, my co-host IG's in the building? And the Bruins have a game. Yes, sir, Game 7. So, we're there, man. The Bruins are doing well. Celtics are doing well. Hopefully we can come home with another trophy, man. These Celtics deserve it. They're a new team. Tatum and his team deserve it. They work very hard. So other than that, man, we had a great night last night. Me and my son went to the club. We chilled out, had a couple drinks, and then a fight broke out. A fight broke out of nowhere after the club. People, if you cannot control your liquor, don't drink. Don't drink, okay? Woo, boy. It was a great night last night, So, also, people, I'm in the process of moving sometime in June, so I might be out the air. And I might relocate the studio. I might not be here any longer. I might move the studio. But that's still in I'm still thinking about it. So I'll, you guys will know about it. I might move my location to a different location. Things out here getting rough, and I'm just in the process of moving. So I'm a solo individual. Too many things happening in my life, and so sometimes you got to relocate when things ain't working correctly. So just putting that out there. Not sure when I'm going to relocate the studio. Probably to my new location. So let's see what happens tomorrow. I'm going to go talk to a new landlord. I'll be moving to hopefully, if things go good, I'll be moving to Rockland, Massachusetts. It's maybe like 35 minutes away from Boston, the city. It's like a small town. And if that comes to play, then I'll probably be moving my studio into my new apartment. Um, just because where I live, it's just like, it's the rent's high, and I gotta pay rent, I gotta pay studio, I gotta pay car, it's just a little too much for me. So I'm gonna try to eliminate some of the cost and probably bring my studio to my new location, depending on how big my location is. And but the show must still go on. We'll still be doing what we're doing, and that's just the way it is, you know. So hopefully a lot of the stuff that I got in my studio can fit in my new place. I'll be doing the show from the roof. Oh God. So I'm actually waiting for Miss Jade Kenny to log in. I sent her a message. I'm not sure. She probably thinking 7 o'clock her time, and she's in Australia. I don't know what the time difference. I think it was like 12-hour difference or something like that. Um, but did she knows we're on for today? Um, I don't even know if she's sleeping still. I don't know if she's sleeping. It's like we hours are different in Australia, and it's not like the last time I had another person come into the show from Australia, and I couldn't get her on the show because it was like 14 hours. It was like 7 here, and it was like 2, 3 in the morning over there, something like that. So if she doesn't come on, people, that's probably why the time difference. Um, Not sure if she was aware of that. She's probably thinking 7 o'clock her time. That'll be like Sunday my time, like 2 in the morning, Sunday 2 in the morning my time. So it's a time difference. I'm hoping that she understood that because she'll probably call me later. I'll be like, I'm ready for the show. I'll be like, I'm asleep. I'll be like, the show was like 7 hours ago. What are you talking about? So that could be a problem, guys. But this is definitely a show that I want it to happen because this it's an interesting story. Chappelle Corby story. She was working for the government. I don't know which part, CIA, FBI. I don't know who she was working for, but I know it says she was flying out in a plane, and somehow, somewhere, there were drugs in her suitcase that she had no idea how it got there. That wasn't her luggage, but it had her name on it and whatever. So she got arrested, and things went to the left, and they were trying to execute her. And Miss Jade Kenny, the lady that we're supposed to have on the show, um, was following the story, and she did some things to help her not get executed. So, and it's a very deep story. And she also had another similar story about two other couples that got caught for the same reason, same thing, same scenario, and were but those two weren't as lucky. They did get executed. So she's telling me that these two cases must be familiar or had something to do with each other. I don't know how the case is. Oh, you already. Oh, she is here. So I sent you the link, Jade. Look on your messenger. Click on the link, and I'll wait for you to come on the on my platform, and I'll bring you on. Oh, there she is. I'm glad she's there. Yeah, Jade. I'm listen. I want to hear the story, so I'm glad you just popped up. Because I know Australia is a different time. It's like 14-hour difference. I'm like, she's probably sleeping, you know. So Jade, the link is on your Facebook Messenger. It says Stream. You already got like a little ducky on it. Tap on that, and it's gonna bring you to the app. It's gonna say click here. You click on it, and and uh and just follow the instructions, and it'll bring you to my live, and I'll bring you in the show. What's up, Lawrence Monroe? Big shout out to Lawrence Monroe. Cito, what's up, baby? My man. Juanito's in the building. Juancito is a friend of mine that grew up with me back in the days in the projects. We grew up together, man. Great guy. He's been through a lot of stuff in his life, just like I have. Been in and out of prison like me. Um, but finally, he got his stuff together. He realized that there's more to life than out here to offer than what we were used to, and the fact that he can watch my show and see that I changed and I changed my life too and took a different path. It's. I'm glad that he can see that if I could change, he can change, and we can all change. Love you more, brother. Love you more. And these are things that happen to people like me and my brother Juancito. We grew up in poor neighborhoods, man. And life was really rough for us, but we made it through, man. We made it through. We here today. The system couldn't break us. The jail system couldn't break us. You know, um, and today we grew to be better men, better fathers, you know, and better human beings. What's up, Eldon? Parapost Network. What's up, baby? Eldon in the building. Big shout out to Parapost Network, guys. Anybody that wants to see anything that has to do with paranormal stuff, link to the page Paranormal Network, and you can see all the groups worldwide that have to do with paranormal from Boston, from all over the world are on that page. And also Bigfoot, UFOs, all type of stuff that's on that page, including the Don Vic Show is on that page too. Okay. Okay. So big shout out to Brian J. Lavardi. Thank you for having me be part of the platform. And they got psychics there as well that do their thing on the Parapost Network. Big shout out to Ken Allen as well. Good friend of mine was on my show. He's phenomenal. So that's where you want to be, people. If you're interested in paranormal uh, investigations and stuff that happens in the paranormal world, Parapost Network is where you need to be, and you can link on all the paranormal groups that are on there. They're on there. They're great guys and gals. You guys can check it out and see what the paranormal is all about. I love the paranormal world because I always got questions, and my questions are never answered because they're also looking for the same answers. And what can we do to get closer to the other side and figure out how we can connect with them and then can help us? you know if they can help solve a crime, man, that'll be so dope. If they can help save a life by letting us know ahead of time, hey, watch out, um you're gonna bump into this or this and that, man, that can also help uh the paranormal world um save lives. You know what I'm saying? Save lives. And that's what it's all about. Productive members of society. Lawrence Monroe. Lawrence Monroe is an also a good friend of mine. He did some acting with me on the movie Don Hazer the Gangster. He played my partner. Of course, he got shut up. Of course, he got bang bang down. But he's a great friend of mine and a great supporter of the Don Big Show. So thank him for logging in. Still waiting for Jade Kenny to log in. I know she's here on my live. I don't know if she got the link, but Jade, I'm gonna send you. Let me send her the link again, guys. Give me 1 second. Let me just send her the link again, just in case she didn't get it. Because sometimes this stuff happens. Bam, bam. So Jade, I just sent you another link, just in case you didn't catch the first one. Just link onto it, and we'll bring you on the show because I definitely want to talk to you about this, about what you do as a director in the movies that you worked in. I got a couple stuff here that I wrote down, and I want to ask you about, plus the story that you want to tell that the world need to know. Okay, so guys, this world can be cruel, to all of us, you know, depending on what you're involved in and what you're getting into. Life ain't easy. Life is hard. I was just saying earlier, that I'm in the process of moving again to another location because I just can't afford the, you know, the rents out here. It's just too high. I got to pay rent at where I live. I got to pay rent here, where at my studio. I got to pay car bill. I got to pay credit. I got to pay all types of stuff. So, I just want to make it a little easier on me. So if I get this new apartment, then I'll probably be moving my studio into my apartment because I just won't be able to. It's just impossible for me to be able to pay my apartment and the studio and everything else that I got to be paying. I thank God for the job I got. That I make pretty good money, and I don't have to be on the streets no more trying to make ends meet. Because let me tell you, that was the reason why I was on the street when I was on the street. It wasn't to brag about that I was a dealer, or because I had the jewelry or the nice cars. I mean, that came with it, you know, but it was really mostly to put food on the table, man. At the time I didn't have a career. I didn't have a career, and I wasn't focused on what I needed to focus on. So everything was street. But I just want people to know that sometimes people that are on the streets dealing drugs are not doing it just to show off and to buy luxury stuff, man. Sometimes people do it because they got to feed their families, and the jobs just don't do it. So they got to find another way to do it. I mean, there's other people that do other things, get a second job. Yeah, they can get a second job, which is okay, but I just couldn't, I just seen this. The money was so fast, it was easy to get, and I knew how to get it. So I chose to, I took that path. I paid, in return, I paid for what I did. I had a good run, but today's is different. I'm a new man, and God gave me the opportunity to become a professional engineer. So I got my engineering license and my oh goodness. So people, we finally got Jay Kenny here. I was about to go get me a pillow and start to rest for a second because I wasn't sure if she was coming on or not. Because we know Australia, it's like totally different hours from here. So I don't know. But we definitely got Jade on. I'm happy because listen, guys, you guys are gonna hear a story, true story. I love true stories. And Jade, I don't know if she's gonna shoot a movie about it. I think she should, but let's find out exactly what she got going on and what she has been doing ever since she got back into the industry. So, people, with that being said, please welcome all the way from Australia, director and the one and only Jade Kenny to the show.
Hi, hi Vic. How are you?
How are you?
Oh, not too bad. How is it in America?
In America, okay, so right now it's a little cloudy, but it's warm out. It's nice.
Oh, that's nice. It'd be lovely to be there.
Have you ever been to America?
No, it's been a very big dream of mine.
Yeah. Well, someday you can come out here. I mean, it's not too much of a difference from Australia, I don't think.
No, but you have so much more to do. Your country's amazing.
Yeah. Well, I wish I was in Australia. maybe we can switch.
Oh, absolutely.
So so Jade, we spoke a little bit, you and I, before we came on the show, and you said some interesting things to me about some stories and stuff that happened over in Australia. Um, but before we get into that, um, tell us about your uh, career as a director. When did you start directing?
I started directing and producing over 25 years ago.
Hmm. Okay.
Yes. So for the past 25 years, I've done all sorts of movies, not just Australian films, but international films as well.
Okay.
Amongst that, also a paranormal investigator.
Yes, you are.
Yes, which I enjoy very, very much.
Ooh, that paranormal investigating, that's a tough job.
It it is, but it's also a lot of fun.
Yeah. My biggest fear, Jade, is to come home with something like a spirit follow me home. That's
Oh,
that's what I'm scared of.
don't be afraid. I mean, it's more common than people realize.
Really.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh man. So so you started your acting career 25 years ago or 20 years ago, and you took a break for a while. Something happened, you had into an accident or something like that. Um
Yes, that's correct. I was in a near fatal car accident, which almost ended my life, and at the same time, only a few months after that, I was actually diagnosed with cancer.
oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, but you know how it goes. Just got to keep that positive attitude, and I think if you keep positive,
Yeah.
things will go well.
Yeah, always got to stay positive, and we got a God, so God, it's what God wants, you know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
you know. So
Yeah.
you've over the last 6 years, you've worked on some movies, Frenzy being one of these movies. Um you was a executive producer on that film.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. And And the unfold
Um,
short, right? Is that's a short film?
yes, I had also done Pure Bloods
Yes.
and HIV, which is known as Hidden in Vicinity,
Mm, okay.
along the Rarity,
Wow.
and also excuse me, collaborated on another film called Stalker with John Jarrett.
Okay.
I'm not sure if you are aware of John Jarrett, but he was in Django Unchained with Quentin Tarantino and
Mm,
Wolf Creek.
okay.
Mm.
Okay. You're working on a film called Deal.
Yes,
Okay. And what's that movie about? Deal.
about a lot of corruption
Mm,
within the Australian force
okay.
and government.
Is that a big thing in Australia? I mean, I know it happens a lot all over the world, and even in my country. But some countries can hide it very well. You know, is that common in Australia? That corruption that goes down is that really like?
Oh, absolutely. More than people understand.
Mm, wow.
Very much so. And unfortunately, with our government, they will, um, sacrifice you.
Wow. I know you said something to me about when a person is executed, um, they send home a bill for the families to pay for the bullets that they used on their family member. Is that so?
Yes, absolutely.
Wow. That's like never heard of over here. Like we we don't do that over here. I think people be broke if that's the case. Hey, we're gonna kill your family member. Yeah, but you're gonna pay for these 1,000 shells that we used. Like that is insane.
Absolutely. And it's actually more the Chinese and Indonesian governments that are responsible for that.
Wow. So are they connected with Australia, or is just that's just a different? Is that different? Or they do it?
It's
Go ahead.
it is different. So say if you were done for drug smuggling and had to face the firing squad in Indonesia, they will execute you and then send your family a bill for the cost of the bullet
Mm,
as well as the bodies to be returned home.
wow, that is so crazy. Um, I want to get into the story of Chappelle Corby.
Yeah.
Um, is that correct, Chappelle Corby?
Yes, Chappelle Colby, yes.
Okay, so Shaquille Corby, from my understanding, was used to work for the government.
No, she was just an everyday Australian.
Oh, okay, okay. So tell us what happened with Chappelle Corby.
I sure. She she and her brother and friend decided to go over to Bali for a holiday, and they got to Brisbane Airport, and all their luggage checked in as it should. And basically, by the time they got on their flight, and landed in Bali. She had a bodyboard bag, which you may know is a boogie board bag.
Okay.
And it weighted, its weight was perfect before leaving Australia's. But by the time they landed in Indonesia, in Bali, they did a customs check and found that there was 4.2 kilo of marijuana
Mm.
in her bag, in the bodyboard bag.
Wow.
And she was saying, it's, yes, that bag is mine, but it weighed, and there was evidence to prove that the bag weighed what it should have
Wait.
legally weighed. Yes.
Right. So when she got to Indonesia and and they pulled it to the side, the bag weighed more than what it was supposed to.
Absolutely. 3 times as much.
So this must have happened while the bags were being bagged, put in the airplane. It had to happen in the airport, somewhere in the airport, somewhere downstairs where the baggages are being put in. So
Absolutely.
okay, so go ahead. So they caught her.
Yep, they caught her in Indonesia, and based upon that, they interrogated her for weeks about these drugs. And she, all she could do was deny it because they weren't hers, and nothing made sense. How could your bag go from correct weight to weighing 3 times the amount that it should have? And the Indonesian police immediately arrested her for drug trafficking
Mm,
and threw her in a jail cell. And what made it worse was, it doesn't matter if you're innocent or guilty. If you are in possession of those drugs, doesn't matter how they got there, you're guilty.
mm, wow.
And and it was so hard to try and get to prove her innocence. That wasn't the case, and that the and in it when this had happened, there had already been investigations by our federal police into um, drug smuggling by baggage handlers in the airport.
Mm,
So we knew straight away she was set up, completely set up.
wow. So where so she was set up off rip from the airport, leaving from one location to another location. Now, did they ever figure out who whose stuff it was or who put it in her luggage to get transported to where she was going?
Yes, she did.
Okay.
And when it came time to prove, like to say this was not mine, how could this happen? It turned out that when you put your luggage onto the conveyor belts and through customs, they do the weight, and the weight to work to perfection, like they weight exactly as they should.
Wow. So when she finds out that she has all this weed in her luggage and she has no idea that she has the luggage there, I mean the stuff in her luggage, what happened after that? I mean, she got arrested and And what happened?
She was thrown into a jail cell, and yeah, basically thrown into a jail cell, and she was left there to rot. It didn't matter her innocence. We
Right.
tried very, very, very hard to um, prove that, we had the evidence to support that what the weight that the bag went into Thailand with was
Mm.
not the weight it was when she got there.
Wow.
Between Brisbane Airport and Bali, someone had slipped 4.2 kilos of marijuana into her bodyboard bag.
Wow. So was it someone that was working at the airport? Was it officials? Like, what did she? Who did she find out that actually put the stuff in her bag?
Well, we highly suspected that it was the baggage handlers because at that time it was so easy due to the lapse of security. It was so easy to just put drugs into anybody's bag.
Wow. So she goes to jail. She we find out that it had to be somewhere in the luggage department where someone put this stuff in her bag. She goes to jail. And what happens after she goes to jail? Yep.
Yes, it's just very, very shocking, Vic. It still blows my mind. That it is so easy to be done.
Right. Right.
Um, People think and I guess you could call them naive, thinking, "Oh, that won't happen to me. It can't happen to me," But when it all comes down to it, you get there and you find drugs in your bag.
Right.
It can happen. And she didn't have security on her bodyboard or her luggage,
Right.
so that made it even easier for him.
Mm. So she was going to be executed for this, correct?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. That was the charge she was facing was death penalty by firing squad.
Wow. So how do you help out in this situation?
Well, I didn't know much about the case to begin with. However, I knew somebody very close to me, and for years she had been um, chasing me down to try and testify for her. The emotional blackmail that they used against me, if you lie for us, we'll give you your son back. And this went as far as the media, to the media's uh, legal representation. And they wanted me to lie to protect their butts so they wouldn't be sued
Mm.
for the story that they run that was based upon a lie.
Wow.
Uh, it took years, years of them being able to um, sort of realize what was going on, and they used to use my child against me with his father, um, calling him a drug smuggler, because if he had been busted as a drug smuggler, he would have lost custody,
Right.
and custody would have gone to me. So they offered me big money to lie, for to lie on behalf of the media. So they didn't get lawsuits against them. I would get my son back,
Wow.
and and offer me millions of dollars for things that didn't exist.
Wow. So they were going to go through all that just to execute this woman.
Absolutely, absolutely. And as a little bit of time went on, I proved I had the evidence that she was a liar and Chappelle was actually innocent. And I gave my testimonies to Chappelle's lawyers in Indonesia. The more I tried to tell the government that this lady was lying, the more I tried to scream out black and blue, do not use this lady, because they had paid her $60,000 for lying.
Wow.
So if you were prepared to lie, that's what they wanted. People that were going to lie to protect them.
That's
And
that. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, and that's wrong.
Right. Yeah.
It's wrong because she was facing the firing squad. And I couldn't, I think there's a lot of people in this world that have wonderful consciences who will only do the right thing.
Right.
And I wasn't going to lie. And the icing on the cake came when I had met with some of our big media. They asked me outright to lie so they wouldn't get a lawsuit against
Wow.
them. I told them not to proceed with her anything that she had to say, and she was lying. And I also stated that, I will not lie because it's not true.
Mm.
No, the more I did that, the more they used my little boy against me.
Wow. So all they were really worried and wanted to protect was themselves from being lawsuit and the media.
Yes,
So
yes,
they didn't even care about this woman, innocent woman, going to get executed so they can save their asses and look good on TV.
absolutely.
That's insane.
Yeah,
That
totally.
is, yeah.
Totally insane. And, the more I dug my heels and said, I'm not going to lie, I'm not going to lie, I refused to. Even though I had my suspicions my ex was involved, it was proving it.
Right.
You
It's
know,
not what you know, it's what you can prove.
exactly. Exactly.
Right.
And the icing on the cake came when I had just finished a big meeting with one of the media stations here in Australia and their big barrister. This lady had, after the meeting, I went home and they contacted me out and said, well, Jay, we've just been informed you're in possession of fake passports of your ex and Corby Jr., Chappelle's brother. And I said, what are you talking about? And they said, please don't deny it. We know you're in possession of these illegal passports. If you have them, please, we're willing to offer you millions of dollars for these passports.
Mm.
Because the woman, only 20 minutes after the interview, had said to them that I was in possession of fake passports.
Wow.
And when I had said no, I was not, that's when the emotional abuse came out even more so. Oh, look, we'll give you your son. We'll give you millions of dollars if just to give us those passports. And I said, well, as tempting as that sounds, I can't give you something that I don't have. And she's lying to you.
Mm.
So, this is why when the Expendable Project chased me down to get the full story of the situation, and it didn't matter how much, I loved my son and I wanted my son, I couldn't lie knowing that this girl was facing the death penalty.
Hmm.
Uh, for that reason, because that would be something that I would have to live with on my conscience for the rest of my life.
Wow. So they basically what they did was put you in the middle of either we give you your son if you lie, or you tell us what we want to know, and we'll give you back your son, and we'll execute this woman.
Yes, and that also included my ex.
Wow. That is so dirty.
Absolutely, it broke me. I was broken, and but I guess the more that they tried to break me and get me to lie, the more I dug my heels in about the truth. I wasn't going to sacrifice an innocent woman, particularly since our government did
Mhm.
nothing whatsoever, Vic, to help this young lady. They just hung her out to dry.
Wow. That is so crazy.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure if this young lady had connections or she was related to someone big, they would have stepped in.
absolutely. And yes, she did have a lot of connections, but the more the media approached us, and the more we tried to say to them she's innocent, the more they did not want to put us all over the news because they knew we were going to blow it out of the water.
Right, because they wanted you to lie. They wanted to hear lies to execute this poor woman over weed. Like marijuana is legal here.
I wish it was here in Australia, and Australia is very, very hard behind,
Yeah.
But the thing is, what it is in Indonesia, China, and all of those countries, drug smuggling, whether innocent, guilty, whatever, it's considered a crime against humanity,
Mm, right.
and that's what makes it worse. But it didn't, she had no proof. They had no proof that these were her drugs.
Right. And they
Yeah,
didn't want to and they didn't want to hear the truth. They just wanted to execute it.
yeah, they just want to execute her. And when I spoke up, I spoke and screamed at the top of my lungs.
Mm.
And what had ultimately happened was that her death was commuted to life. And then, as more of my testimony came to light, she got 20 years. And then after that, she got 10 years and she was released in 2017. But had my testimony not be used, she would either be rotten in jail or she would have been in the firing squad.
Wow. So she was released in 2008,
2017.
17.
Yes.
Wow. Have you spoken to her after that incident?
No, I haven't had the honor of speaking with her yet, but I was very, and still am, very close friend with her uncle,
Mm,
who then tracked me down and said, "Can you help us?" And I said, "Sure, without a problem."
right.
Regardless of my ex, I know he was involved.
Right.
because it wasn't involved directly with Chappelle.
Mm.
But this girl, our government sacrificed her. And what I would like to say, Vic, is thank you to the American people. I would like to thank you with all our hearts, because if it wasn't for America standing by Chappelle as well,
Oh, because they stepped in.
yeah,
America stepped in.
yes, the American people stepped in with doing a global um, protest and march,
Mm. Yeah.
and said let them free. They knew there was something wrong with the case. They
Right.
knew,
Wow.
and tried to help fight to have her released.
Wow. So this happens a lot, in a lot of countries, and like you said, when it comes to Indonesia, China, and countries like that, if you don't have people to back you up or to tell the truth, you will be executed. They don't take a second chance. Uh,
Yeah, absolutely not. And even if you're innocent, you are guilty.
wow. So it's whatever so you have basically you don't have a trial or a judge, a lawyer to fight your case and to find out if you're innocent or not.
You do, but you're still found guilty because you're in possession of those drugs, regardless of them being yours or
Or
plants.
not. Wow. So they don't even uh take a moment to figure out if they are yours or not yours, because they don't want to make sure that they're not putting someone away for life or executing someone that has nothing to do with the situation.
Yes, that's correct. And the other case that we were talking about shortly after Chappelle, there was another case of the America, the world had heard of the Barley Nine.
Okay, Ballon 9.
Yeah, the Barley Nine. And it was run by supposedly two Australians trying to smuggle heroin out of Bali. The problem was that it happened with only a couple of months of each other. And when Chappelle got caught, photos were taken to show that she was guilty. However, in this circumstance, there was no videos, of real time to show that these people had these drugs possibly planted on them.
Mm,
Only photos were taken, and then they were paraded out in the street
wow.
with a, I think it was like 500 kilo of heroin.
Ooh, 500 kilos. Well, 500 kilos here in America is a lot of kilos.
Oh yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
500 kilos is almost a ton of kilos. It's almost like a thousand keys.
Yep, they were trying to get it in through deport, like through the import export, and
Yeah.
then whoever could carry what.
Did they make a movie out of that? Because I'm thinking now. I thought I seen a movie of some Australians that were trying to traffic stuff through the water and got caught at as they were coming into the to the American soil.
Okay. Yes, I think there was a movie made upon that. Yes, sorry. Yeah, that was the story of the Barley Nine
Okay. Yeah.
and
Mhm.
Iron Sycamore, and
Wow. So what happened to those two individuals?
they were executed on April of 2014.
Wow, that wasn't too long ago.
No. And at that stage, Indonesia was going through a election, and as soon as the new president had gotten to um, into power, the first week he resumed his executions.
Wow. The first week he was already executing people.
Yep, the first week in power.
Wow.
And our two Australians were the first two to be picked.
From Australia.
Yep.
That is so crazy. I mean, the, the things that happen, you know, worldwide. This can happen to anybody. It can happen to me. It can happen to anybody. Any viewers that are watching. You know, you you really have to be aware of your surroundings and what's going on, because you know you're traveling to these different countries, and you don't know what's being put in your bags down. You know, when they being put in the plane, they can be switched over and put in the bag. You know, so um, yeah. Are you okay?
Yes, sorry. It just makes me very, very angry, that
Yeah.
our investigations were 150%, certain that these cases were linked.
Okay.
And also within that, it was that shortly after that, a young couple had just got married and they went over to Bali for their honeymoon. And their bags were fine upon departure. When they got to Thailand, and went through baggage claimant, the bag was a little bit heavier. But they got to their motel room, opened up their bags, and found 3 ounces of dope in their bag. They
Mm.
didn't know what to do, so they went to the Australian consulate, and the Australian consulate said to them, "Get it out of here now. We have no interest in wanting to be in possession of these drugs. But my advice to you would be just go straight back to your motel, flush it down the toilet, and do not tell authorities because you will be facing the death penalty."
Wow. So they also found some stuff in their luggage when they got to their location. So oops, sorry guys, we lost her. But this is amazing. How things could happen. Um, you know, without you even having an idea of what's getting put on your bags when you're flying to these countries. You know, so and this can happen to anyone, folks. This can happen to any one of us. You know, traveling to these places, you know, these countries like China and Australia, and you know, you just never know, you know. So you really have to be aware. Check your bags, make sure you're constantly aware of what's going on. Anything funny you see, just pick up on it, because this could happen to anyone. And the fact that it happened to this young lady is 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 crazy. Sorry guys, I'm just checking something out on my phone. So I don't know what happened uh to Jade, but people, I can just imagine how scared this young lady Chappelle Colby was, having not an idea of what was going on in her bag and finding that stuff in her bag and them wanting to execute her for something that she had no idea that was going on and all this dope in her bag. Um, it must have been a nightmare for her. It must have been a nightmare. I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying, Lawrence. It's not the time to be traveling. Hold on. We got her back. We bring her back on the show.
I we've had internet issues because here in Australia we're flooding at the moment.
Oh, you're flooding?
Yes, for the third time in 2 months.
What? You mean like the ocean water coming into your city?
Yes, and heavy torrential rain like you could never imagine.
Oh my goodness.
So I do apologize.
It's okay. I get it. Um, Hi Irene. So wow. So did you end up getting your son back?
No,
They didn't give you your son back.
no, they didn't.
Wow.
If I was prepared to lie for them, maybe, but I highly had doubted it. And big, in all honesty, to sacrifice somebody else's life for your own agenda, it's not the way to go. You
Mm-mm.
know,
Mm-mm.
this lady could have died, but, and it was highly likely she was going to die, and it was just couldn't allow that to happen.
Right. Right. I mean, I couldn't see anyone living with that on their back, knowing that a person was executed and you had the power to stop it, and then living with that guilt that you lied, knowing yourself that you lied and got someone executed that didn't deserve to be executed. So I understand that part. And I also understand the part that you had your son on the other side, that you love dearly, that you wanted back. So I understand the the situation that you was in. It was either or.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the biggest thing was, as I said, I loved my son and I was fighting custody, but they used him as an emotional pawn. And unless I was prepared to lie, that there was nothing they were going to do for me. Anything that resembled helping this lady, helping Chappelle with her, with her innocence, having the evidence that she was innocent, um, just destroyed any opportunity of me getting my son back. But it was about, as I said, doing what was right.
Wow. That's a very deep story, and I'm glad that you stepped up and you saved a life. Um, you know, and you telling the story um to the best of your ability. And sorry for the other two guys that had to be executed for what they found in their bags and stuff like that. But is have you planned to shoot a movie about this or
Yes,
yeah,
yes. I
yes.
would very much like to create a movie about this. And specifically since also too, you Americans have actually had your own case, uh, or a similar situation happen with, in a situation like this.
Mm-hmm.
and you know, they weren't going to let your citizens go at all,
Mm.
and they were facing death completely. But it doesn't matter if you're innocent or guilty. If the Indonesians find drugs in your system, like drugs in your possession, you are in, automatically guilty. There is no proven innocence. No proven innocent until you're proven guilty. Or proven
Mm.
guilty.
Right.
You
So
know,
they kind of take the laws in their own hands and do what they want with you, basically.
but yes, absolutely, and like the Australian Federal Police here, the big commissioner at the time, although I had more than enough evidence to substantiate that Chappelle was innocent, he was saying, going around the world saying, "Oh, but we can't find evidence to support this."
Mm.
It, the more that came out, the more they tried to cover their behinds.
Right. Right. Because like she knows what she had in the bag. They weighed a bag. They already knew what the bag weighed when before she got into the plane. And all of a sudden she gets to this location and the bag weighs more. How did that happen?
Because she didn't have a lock on her bodyboard bag, it's gone through the customs, through your luggage thing out to go onto the plane. Everything was fine, weight was fine. But inside the airport, there was a lot of drug smugglers setting up people, putting drugs in their bags.
Mm.
And then the person would get to the other side of their destination, open up their bags, and find mass amounts of drugs in their bags. And the more that they tried to plead innocent, the guiltier they were found.
Right. So Irene's saying if you have drugs in the border, you are deported at the AI. I understand that, Irene, but some countries they don't deport you. They just want to execute you. Uh,
Yes,
Places like China and this other place that you just mentioned, Jade,
Bali in
Bali.
Thailand.
See, you got to understand that the laws are different. Here in America, you get caught trafficking drugs, you go to trial. They try to find out where the drugs came from, how you got involved. There's a big investigation here in America. In some countries, like Jade said, they don't care if you where it came from or where you got them from. They just want to execute you right away, and that's that.
Yeah, but that's pretty much it,
Yeah.
because it makes it look better for themselves. And in Indonesia and China, they're allowed to manufacture these drugs. It's just if you try to get them out of the country, is when they'll arrest you and consider it a crime against humanity, which is instant death penalty.
Right, right. Irene, I understand that Japan don't. Some countries, the laws are different. Irene, where like we were just talking about, some countries just execute you right away. They don't. It's like they don't believe in laws, But Japan, it's different. Japan is kind of like more Americanized or something like that. If that's okay to say. um. So So, what else would you like the people to know, Jade, about this case?
Well, particularly with this case, still to this day, it's happening,
Okay.
and if anyone wants to take a trip overseas, please make sure that you have the nothing but the utmost security on your bags.
Right.
And yep, and to protect yourselves the best you can, because even baggage handlers all around the world are somehow in one form or another involved in drug smuggling, and they look for the securest bags that don't have the locks and the security, which makes it so easy for them to fill your bags with drugs. And while they get away with it, you pay the price with the firing squad.
Wow. That's so crazy. Well, I want to thank you for coming on the show and telling your story. I really appreciate that. I'm pretty sure the guys and the viewers here and the ladies enjoyed the story. Um, I can't wait for you to put the film together and kind of so we can see where you're going with the story and see you put it together in a film. We'll really love that.
I look. I would really look forward to putting a film together, very much so, to make people aware. See, people go in blindsided because
Yeah,
saying, "Oh, it can't happen to me. It's not going to happen. It'll be all right."
right,
And then when they get on the other end, that is not the case.
right. Exactly. I said that earlier. It could happen to any of us, depending on where we're going. So people really need to be aware. So Jada, I want to thank you for coming on the show. You're amazing. You got my number. You can always call me when you get ready. If you decide you want to make the film, let
Yeah.
me know so I can help you promote it on the show. And whatever we can do here on our side for you, man, just give us a call and I'll see what I can do for you.
Oh, that'd be wonderful. But thank you very much for having me. And y- yes, it was a pleasure um, meeting you and being on your show. Thank you again.
Thank you. You're amazing, and it's a pleasure meeting you. And big shout out to Australia. I love Australia, even though I haven't been there, but I have some people out in Australia that have been on the show, and a friend of mine. So big shout out to Australia.
Awesome. Maybe you could come for a holiday.
Maybe. Well, right now with all this we're talking about, I mean, I want to travel to Australia.
Oh, you'll be right from America to Australia, but it's the Indonesian countries.
Okay. So thank you, Jay, for coming on the show, and we'll talk to you soon.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, Vic.
Okay. Good night.
Good night.
Yes, everyone, that was Jade Kenny all the way from Australia. Amazing story, and people, we need to be aware of everything that we do, especially traveling. I remember back a couple of years ago here in Boston, we used to have this guy called George. For what was it? Crazy George something. He was a trafficker as well too, but he was actually doing it. But what the point I'm trying to make is that he was using the luggages, using the airport to transfer a lot of weed from from state to state. You know what I mean? And then he got into the heavier drugs, which was the cocaine. He got into it. They call him. Was traveling from Colombia out here and bringing cocaine into the country. And so that could happen, people. I mean, I know times has changed. It's a little harder now to uh, to traffic anything. I think the new thing now that people are doing for trafficking are human trafficking. That's real big right now. It's always been big. People really didn't talk about human trafficking, but human trafficking is a big business. It's been happening for lots and lots and lots of years. People just don't talk about it. But that's another subject that needs to be talked about. Human trafficking, how people traffic humans for sex, money, and for whatever organs, like people that need organs in their body that are dying and need a heart. They traffic children and people to get what they need done. So people, I'm just glad that Jade came on here and told us a story. I'm glad the Miss Chappelle Corby's out now. I hope that her life is getting better, or it's gotten better after that incident. I hope that was a wake up call, not just for her, for everyone that's traveling to these third world countries. Um, because we don't know, we don't know what's going on in these third world countries, because we're not from there, and we don't know the laws in those countries. So, you might be traveling and say, yeah, I'm going to take me a little bit of weed, marijuana from America, because I'm going to, I don't know, one of these third world countries. I'll be all right, and get caught with that little dime bag of weed, and they want to give you 20 years. So you really got to watch how you travel. And I know weed is legal here in America, in certain part of America where people smoke it now, but some countries it's not. You can't take weed from one country and take it to another country and think that you're going to sit there and smoke it and be okay. So you really got to watch out how you travel. You know what I mean? Because crazy, yeah, stuff happens, Irene. Exactly. you know yes, they do have a lot of trouble with drugs and trafficking all day, and that's all over the world. But we got to remember that drugs is big business. This go bigger than just people in our neighborhoods that deal the drugs. This go bigger than that. You know what I'm saying? It's bigger than that, people, and there's a lot of people, important people, powerful people, that are involved in this game, because that's what keeps everything moving. You know what I'm saying? Believe it or not, the drug game. Okay. Weed is legal here in Japan. Irene, are you from Japan? Irene? Because Irene talking like she's from Japan. She's like, it's legal here in Japan. So I okay, Japan is in the building. Big shout out to Japan. I never thought I had somebody from Japan on my show, but Irene is from Japan. So big shout out to Irene. Big shout out to Japan. Everybody's welcome on the Don Big Show. If you got a story to tell, if you're a producer, if you're an actor, comedian, entrepreneur, activist, whatever it is, and you need a platform because you need to be promoted and you want to promote something, this is where you need to be. The Don Vic Show. Usually my co-host is with me, but he's not here today. But I'm here, and we can get you set up for an interview on the Don Vic Show, and you can come on the show, and we can get you on the show. You're a paranormal investigator. So you're a paranormal investigator from Japan. Yes. Oh, yeah. So we got us a paranormal investigator all the way from Japan as well. Maybe we need to bring Irene on the show on a later date and talk to Irene about her paranormal investigation out there in Japan. But people, I truly want to say that anything can happen. Anything can happen. So please be aware of your surroundings. Make sure you check your luggages anytime you're going to travel. Make sure they got locks on them. And when you land and you get your luggage, you make sure you look at the luggage. Make sure that the locks are still the same. They haven't been tampered with. And if so, do not touch your luggage. Leave it where it is. And try to find someone to come and help and let them know that your luggage has been tampered with. That's not your lock. You haven't opened it. You haven't opened your luggage. You haven't touched it. It just came from where it was, and whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? Because this is crazy. Thank you, Sandra. So, people, that was the end of the show. This was the last show tonight. Tomorrow, tune in at 3 p.m. with Sandra A. Smith. She is a director, filmmaker, and I believe she's an actor. She'll be on the show tomorrow. We'll be talking to her, see what she got going on. You know what I'm saying? And what she doing in the filming industry. See what film she's produced, worked on, and directed. So, tune in tomorrow, guys. It's tomorrow. The Celtics also play tomorrow. So tune in for the Boston Celtics. And you guys have a great night. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Thank you, everyone, for supporting the show and supporting my guests. And shout out to everybody worldwide. And big shout out to Japan. Thank you, Irene, for logging in. You're amazing. Make sure you share it with your friends. Tell your friends to tell a friend to log on the Don Vic Show tomorrow at 3 p.m. with Sandra A. Smith. They'll be on the show tomorrow. So, guys, thank you very much. Have a great night. It's your boy Don Vic from the Don Vic Show. You already want to know what it is. All right? So, I'm going to let y'all go with peace, love, and respect. And I'm out of here.